You just see a load of pixes of Craig's fantasy or something.
Yeah, no, well, hopefully
that's switched over. You should look at the VMix, not the stream.
Is that your boyfriend that you've
That's
got?
Nathan Thompson.
Oh,
yeah, can you see the? Yeah, look at the VMix. Yeah,
you seem a bit obsessed with him, Craig.
Oh,
right?
Very much so. Yes, I love the pictures that everyone sends me of him. This is a very serious question, Bev. All right, very, very serious. Do you have a brain injury? I'm genuinely asking a serious question. Do you have a brain injury? Oh, no, because I'm genuinely interested. Because if you have a brain injury, it explains why you're this fucking retarded. So, do you have a brain injury?
Craig.
Yes or no? Do you have a brain injury?
Do you, Craig?
No, I don't. I don't have a brain injury. I'm quite smart.
Absolutely certain, are you?
Absolutely 100%. Do you have a brain injury?
Would you know if you had a brain injury?
Yeah, I've had my brain scanned several times, so...
Oh, why is that? Just to check for brain
Because
injury.
I did have a brain injury when I was younger.
Oh, so you have had a brain injury?
It was fixed, though. I had a very, very small aneurysm before I joined the military. But
NASA fixed it.
NASA did give a big implant, but it wasn't any kind of brain injury that would affect my intelligence. When I'm asking you have a brain injury, I'm meaning, as a child, were you hit in the head several times with a ballpoint hammer? Or do you remember at any point, did you have your head on the road and did a bus crush your skull? Do you remember that happening?
Craig.
No, I'm serious. I'm genuinely concerned for you.
Have you got that
was there a point where
on your face
was there a point instead of like, you know, formula, your parents accidentally gave you a tin of lead paint or something? I mean, this
do you think this is a good look for you, Craig? Do you think this
absolutely? I mean, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of how you're so stupid.
I mean, Bev, as I said earlier, you either need medical attention, or you just think you're doing some performance here for us, this performance art or something, and you therefore think you're being terribly clever by pretending to be a moron. You either are a moron or you're pretending to be a moron. Either way, it's not good for you.
I like the performance art version. That's good.
Yeah.
And the trouble is, we know he claims to teach this to his children as well. So
yeah,
I mean,
that's what bugs the crap out of me.
What, that teaching that level is horizontal is something wrong with
that's
that,
wrong.
Craig?
Yeah, because that is actually a lie.
Wrong.
It's locally correct. It's locally correct.
The
level has several meanings.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
The level has several meanings.
Is it child abuse or isn't it child abuse then? What we going with?
I'm saying, personally, I believe the things that you teach your child, your autistic child, is psychological child abuse.
Like that water is level?
No, you teach your child that level is a horizontal plane, which is not true.
Yes.
And the implication of that is that you are teaching your child the earth is flat.
No.
Yes. If your child asks you...
He knows there are mountains and valleys. He's been up
yeah, so do all other flat earthers, but you are implicating to your child that the earth is not a sphere. That the earth is not as we know it. You are teaching your child to mistrust authority and... Yeah, I absolutely know it. I 100% know it, yes. I have done personal calculations in the military, well, for fuel consumption, that only work when we're on a sphere.
Oh, right. Which ones were they?
Many.
Which ones, though? Go on.
I had to calculate how much fuel the diesel engines would use when going from South Africa all the way up to the...
That's just a distance, right? What's that got to do with a sphere?
Because the maps that we used were based on a sphere.
The maps were flat, weren't they?
No, they were based on a sphere.
They were curved maps.
The maps are all representations of curves, yes.
They are flat maps, though,
just
right?
Just because they're on a flat piece of paper doesn't mean to say they're assuming the surface is not curved, you twat.
Yeah, all the
calculations. The surface is a two-dimensional surface, right?
No, the surface of a sphere is definitely not two-dimensional. You're wrong.
Sorry?
The surface of a sphere is not two-dimensional. The surface of a sphere is it's a two-dimensional shape embedded in a three-dimensional plane. The surface of a sphere is not 2D. You're wrong.
It's definitely not 2D.
No, the surface of a sphere is definitely not 2D.
Oh. You've upset a few of your mates there, and I'm not so sure how well that's going to go down.
Only if you're speaking within the confines of spherical geometry, Bev, which he's not speaking of.
Have you seen it there, then? Have you seen it on Twitter?
Have I seen what?
Have I seen it?
Yeah. I'm doing a question there.
Seen it, not seen it.
Yeah.
Seen it. I don't know what you've seen, though. I don't know what he's claiming you've seen.
I'm doing it. There's a question running on Twitter. Is the surface of a
I'm
sphere
only just back on Twitter.
2-dimensional or 3-dimensional? It's quite easy. Simple question.
Yeah, and I said within the confines of perfectly of strict spherical geometry, it is 2-dimensional. But we're not speaking on that.
So but Craig's just said it isn't. Definitely isn't. So
yeah, and
what do you think the results would be, Craig?
I don't care what the results would be.
A percentage result. You go 3D though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the
MC2, I think
surface
it'd
of
be
the
more
sphere
correct to
is
say you can only
3D.
move in certain parts of it, but it is actually 3-dimensional. But you can only move along the surface.
So-
Therefore,
Can I?
So what would you think if 66% of the people thought it was 2D, Craig? What do you
Then
think? There's a load of
66
flat earthers.
No, because people can be wrong and not be a flat earther. It's when
Or
you
misunderstand the question.
Yeah,
because
but
it's
you're
when
right
you have
saying
willful
3D,
ignorance, right? No, Bev, right,
You're
listen.
right saying it's 3D.
Bev, shut up, listen. If someone said something that was wrong, right, and you corrected them, they have now learned, right? But if you are saying something that is wrong, and despite all of the evidence, you are still saying that you are right, then that is willful ignorance and likely a flat earther.
I love the fact that Bev is contradicting surveying manuals, and he claims to have a certificate in some sort of surveying. I find that particularly amusing.
Worst surveyor
Yeah,
ever.
I've got quite a few qualifications in surveying.
you
Did you
don't.
read your surveying books, Bev?
What?
You read any?
Yeah, of course I did. I got an A.
Excellent.
No, you didn't.
So you ought to try agreeing with them then, shouldn't
No,
you?
you didn't. I'm straight
I
up
don't.
bullshit.
You've
never got an A in your
our
life.
first debate when you said straight lines bend, I showed you it.
Straight lines do curve.
It's Craig. Come on. We've gone way past that. Even Rumpus doesn't have straight lines bending.
No, I'm not saying bending, I'm saying curving.
Straight lines are straight. Come on, Craig. You can't
On the
still be
surface
going
of a
with
sphere,
that.
a straight line will curve.
Yeah, so they're called
that's
geodesics,
curved
then,
line.
Craig. They're called geodesics,
It's
then,
not,
Craig.
it's not a straight line, is it?
I mean, just read the book.
But that's straight lines become curves. They stop being straight lines to become something else.
Yeah, they're geodesic, but it's still on the
Yeah, so
surface
it's
of a
not
sphere.
a straight line, is it, Craig? If,
Right,
if
do me a
it
favour.
stops being a straight line to
do me a
become
favour,
something
Bev.
else,
Do me a favour, Bev.
no longer
Bev, do me a favour.
straight line,
Take
Craig,
a pen.
is it?
Do me a favour. Take a pen and draw a straight line on a sphere.
A sphere is a 3-dimensional surface, Craig.
Yeah,
not
do me a favour. Do me a favour.
2-dimensional.
Take a pen and draw a straight line on a sphere.
It's a curved
Yeah,
surface,
Bev.
Craig.
So what happens if you draw a straight line on a sphere?
You can't draw a straight line on a sphere because
gonna look straight
it
for you, isn't it?
curves constantly at every point. That's what a sphere
There are
is.
ways.
Craig,
There are ways of mapping a surface to a sphere where you can draw on the mapping surface, which we do things like call it in UV coordinates, and then those are transformed into a 3D thing. So in fact, you can, with a transform, effectively move around in 2D, but then when you're transformed into the real world, you're in 3D. I mean, I don't suppose you understand what a transform is and how you can transform between coordinate systems. I don't suppose you understand any of that.
No, he struggles to tie his own shoelaces. So
in
Yeah,
reality,
exactly, yeah.
Rumpus, you can't transform to something else, can you?
really, tell me
Oh
what
my
a
God.
transformer does.
They're more than meets the eye.
That's a film, Craig, right?
No. A transformer in electronics. What does a transformer do?
Oh, well, you're talking about mathematical
Does it
transforms.
bend
or-
straight
alternating
lines?
current?
No.
Mathematical-
Yeah, you
alternating
just
current?
said you just said you can't transform from one thing to another. So
Yeah,
tell
he's
me
talking
what.
about- he's talking about
Rumpus
mathematical
was
transforms, Craig.
talking about transforming straight lines into curves.
Yeah,
you mong.
With
You
maths.
can with maths.
In
Yes,
maths.
absolutely. You just apply a transformation algorithm.
See,
In
so you can do
reality,
that. So in other
you
words,
bend
you
a
could
straight
move around
line.
on a flat map.
In
Bev, you could
reality-
have a representation. Bev, you could have a representation on a flat, two-dimensional UV surface, and then have that straight line drawn, and then it would be
is that
transformed
2D
into a
surface
curved line.
a flat surface, like a plane?
Yes, it is.
Rumpus.
Exactly.
Right,
you can
okay.
do that. You can have a 2D representation.
2D
of just the
surface is
let
flat.
me finish. Let me finish. Yes, so you have what's called a UV coordinate system with just 2 coordinates, and basically what Mctoon was sort of implying, and then you could draw all over that, and then you can map that onto the 3D surface. So you can move around on the surface of the Earth by just drawing in 2D, and then have it mapped as a last-minute transform onto the 3D surface to give you where you actually want. And that's the point that Mctoon, I think, was basically saying. You've only got the ability to move around in 2D, but you can then map it into 3D using a transform.
We've got a question.
Yeah, you're all safe in each other.
We've got a question from the audience. You see what's on screen on VMX?
Mm-hmm.
How many perpendiculars are in this photo?
I don't know. I can't measure them because I wouldn't know whether they're perpendicular or not, would I?
Oh my god.
Oh god. See, he dodges it.
What do you mean? Oh my god!
Fuck.
How do you know that they're perpendicular?
We're saying that we're for the sake of this argument, it's clear that Craig's suggesting those things are 90 degrees of one another. Of course, he hasn't got out a bloody
like a Cartesian coordinate system.
Yes, that's what he's implying. And you knew either you're stupid and you didn't realise that, or that
you show me a Cartesian?
You see, you're deliberately contradict. You see, you're deliberately
X, Y,
contrarian
Z.
here. Every time someone says something to you, you try and find some irritating little twatish comment to make instead of getting on with the argument because you're a little twat. You knew what he meant. Even you're not that stupid. You knew that he said.
No, he is.
The implication was that those things were at 90 degrees to one. You knew that's what he was implying.
The implication was,
oh, Jesus Christ.
Let's ask the chat. Guys, number 1 for Poe, number 2 for dumbest person on Earth. Spherical Earth.
Mctoon, do you still... He must be irritating you. Even you. He must be irritating you.
He is... Anybody on the fence listening would say, dear God,